Welcome everyone to this briefing brought to you by the Israel Defense and Security Forum, IDSF. In Hebrew, name is a Bitchonistim. IDSF is a leading Israeli organization advocating for strong national security to defend Israel. Thank you to all of our viewers for tuning in today. We have a lot to share with you since our last briefing last week. For all of you who have been following the news, you see the images, the videos, and that the escalation of the war with Hezbollah has dramatically changed since last week. So it's a great pleasure to be joined today by Brigadier General Amir Avivi, the founder and chairman of IDSF. The general was just up in the north this morning. Now he's on his way to the TV stations. And General, thank you so much for taking from your busy time to provide an update today.
Thank you, Moshe. So basically, everything that's happening is in the context that in the last few weeks, the decision was made to move the center of gravity from the south to the north. We created in the south the terms for the destruction of Hamas as a governmental and military entity. Hamas is not posing a serious threat anymore to Israel, and we have to continue operating, and we are operating in the south. The operations continue in the south, maybe not at the same level and intensity as before because units were sent north, but we're still attacking, we're still pushing hard in the south at the moment. The army is working on something that we talked about a lot, how to manage the humanitarian aid in a way that it won't go to Hamas, enhance the control over Gaza, and overall things are moving in the south, maybe a bit slowly, but in the right direction. And Israel decided to move the center of gravity to the north. So the first decision was to pass a clear goal of war that is basically dealing with what is going to be in the north. And the goal is to return all the citizens back north safely. This is what the government decided. And from that moment, we are attacking in a way that says, Hezbollah, you have only two choices. Either you withdraw from South Lebanon and stop shooting Israel, or it's a full-scale war. There are no other options. Basically, attrition is not something Israel is going to agree to anymore. Hezbollah would have continued 10 years to exchange fire and make sure that our citizens are not able to come back safely home. We're saying no more attrition. It's game over now. That's it. Now we are intensifying the attacks in a way that will leave Hezbollah no choice but to take a decision. Either full-scale war, and full-scale war from our side means attacking all Hezbollah's capabilities, targeting Nasrallah directly, trying to kill all the leadership, destroying all their weapons, attacking everywhere, and the ground incursion in South Lebanon. This is what it means for the IDF, a full-scale war against Hezbollah. From Hezbollah's side, a full-scale war would be also shooting centers in Israel, possibly Tel Aviv, and we might reach this point, but at the moment, the IDF is attacking fiercely. We are attacking in the northern part of Lebanon, all the strategic capabilities. These strategic capabilities are in private houses that we are targeting at the moment. We are calling the people to get out of these areas, leave their homes, because Hezbollah built all their capabilities inside homes. So we're telling the people to move out, and at the moment, there are tens of thousands of Lebanese that are fleeing Tzor, are fleeing Tzidon, are fleeing areas in Debka towards Beirut. This will create a lot of pressure on Hezbollah and on Lebanon, because whole cities are being evacuated. The IDF sent a clear message. We are shooting every single military target, and if you don't want to get hurt, move out of this area. So this is what's happening at the moment. and there is hysteria in Lebanon, and everybody is fleeing out of South Lebanon, out of other areas that the IDF is attacking. The IDF is continuing to try and hit commanders. Basically, all the top echelon of Hezbollah has been targeted, a part of Nasrallah himself, and the IDF will continue to try and locate other leaders and deal with them. Basically, all the attacks are above level of war, meaning Hezbollah at any moment can say, okay, that's it, and start shoot Tel Aviv, and then we are in a full-scale war. But it seems that because we are very, very determined and not afraid to go to a full-scale war, this makes Hezbollah nervous. They feel as if we are putting a strategic trap, trying to push them into a full-scale war, because they now understand this is what Israel wants, and they're afraid because they are completely penetrated, talking about intelligence. It's amazing to see the level of intelligence Israel has on Hezbollah. Every single warehouse, weapons that are concealed in buildings, top leadership, the amazing attack with the beepers with 4,000 people hit at once. All these things make Hezbollah nervous. And I can say that if I was pretty sure that there is no scenario where we're not maneuvering in order to achieve the goals of war, the level of destruction and the level of hits that Israel inflicted on Hezbollah and what is going to happen now might bring us to a point where we don't need to maneuver, that they will withdraw without that. It's not a very big chance, but there is a real chance, because if we manage to hit a few more commanders and maybe Nasrallah himself, basically the whole leadership of Hezbollah will be destroyed. And this is something pretty dramatic. And one of the big questions is, okay, where is Iran in all of that? I mean, we saw Iran saying, we'll shoot Israel, and they threatened us and so on. And at the moment, they're pretty quiet. We'll see how long this continues. There's a big question, what are they saying to Hezbollah? Will they want to keep Hezbollah safe, or will they want to take the chances of a full-scale war that they understand now that might end with Hezbollah destroyed? Not because we'll conquer all of Lebanon with our soldiers, because we'll kill all the leadership. And it's obvious that we are able to do it. So we are in a very, very defining moment. We are going all out, not stopping. The army has plenty of targets to attack. There are surprises along the way that we'll see as things are intensifying. Today, hundreds of people were hit in Lebanon. And so far, yes, they shot rockets, but not a lot. They shot, the furthest they went, it's 30 rockets that were shot not far away where I live, between Haifa to Caesarea. One of these rockets not far away from the school where my kids go to school, but no injuries. Overall, the air defense is doing a very, very good job defending. This gives a lot of strength. And I can say that visiting today the north and talking to the people and being in Aker and speaking with the municipality and participating in their meeting in the morning, assessing the situation, there is a lot of resilience. People want a victory. People want to see the IDF attacking fiercely. They are willing to sustain these attacks of Hezbollah. They want to see a clear win and our citizens going back to the north. And it seems to me, if there won't be a big change, something dramatic, that Israel is not going to stop until we set the terms for bringing back all our citizens safely home to the north. And if we manage to do it without the need to do a big ground incursion in Lebanon, this might enable us to go back and focus again on Gaza and finish the job, and also deal with the Palestinian terror infrastructure in Judea and Samaria, which we are attacking constantly, but we need obviously to do it more. If we had more forces, we would do more. So plenty of missions to do. And we have to remember that as we are dealing with this, we saw shooting from Iraq, from the militias from Iraq. We saw shooting again from Yemen. We saw drones coming from Iraq through Syria to Israel. So we're dealing with many fronts, and the Air Force, Air Defense are doing a great job dealing with these threats. I think it's very, very hard to predict how things will evolve. Decision-making will have to be taken according to the reality on the ground, according to what happens, according to what Hezbollah will do following our intensive attacks, and we don't know. So when you don't know what is going to happen, there is only one solution: be proactive and attack. And this is what the IDF is doing. The Prime Minister spent most of the day today in the Kiryat, in the Air Force headquarters, monitoring the many attacks of the Air Force on Hezbollah. So far, we are very, very focused on military sites of Hezbollah. Yes, they are inside areas of civilian areas, but it's military sites. We're not attacking Lebanese infrastructure. We're focused on rockets, missiles, drones, things like that, warehouses, headquarters.
Hi, everyone. It seems like we lost the general. Oh, he's back. There you go. You're back.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we see you.
Moshe?
Yeah, we
okay.
hear you.
Yeah, so this is the situation. Moshe, if you want to take some questions.
Okay, so you could say that October 7th was really the culmination of Hamas preparing since the 2005 disengagement from Gaza, and it caught us completely off, by surprise. So, to what extent is there a concern that Hezbollah has been planning for this moment since the 2006 Lebanon war? And whatever confidence we have in the IDF and in the Air Force, they've been preparing for this and they've been waiting for us to attack. Is that a serious concern that we're going to be caught off guard by Hezbollah just like we were with Hamas?
I think that not at this stage. I think that if Hezbollah would have attacked on the 7th of October, it would have been devastating for sure. But they chose not to. We reinforced the border. We had 11 months to prepare for this moment while degrading their capabilities, creating again full freedom of operation for the Air Force, pushing forces north, hitting many commanders, and keeping what we know about them all these 11 months secret. And now we're bringing all our capabilities at once, and we see things that people couldn't imagine. These attacks that have been prepared for years. It's not something that you can do in a short time. And this is what we are seeing. So yes, we have to be ready. And what can surprise us to a certain extent is if they start shooting the long-range missiles to the center of Israel. This might happen, and we have to be ready for that. And we understand that this is something that might happen. It's not supposed to be a very big surprise.
Thank you, and thank you to all of our viewers sending in the many questions. It's obviously a critical issue to talk about. General, can you just share the war goal of pushing Hezbollah north of the Litani River? How does that provide safety and security for Israel if Hezbollah has all of these long-range missiles that can hit Israel anywhere throughout the entire country?
So when we talk about missiles or drones or rockets, which also Yemen has and Iraq have, and Syria and Iran, to deal with this, you need deterrence. The way is create deterrence that they're not motivated to shoot what they have. I mean, what prevents, let's say, Iran from shooting us, and they have many missiles, it's kind of deterrence. They know that they will pay. So, you can put rockets in North Lebanon, and even when this war ends, there won't be zero capabilities. There will be capabilities in the hand of Hezbollah, but you want to create a situation where they are hit so hard and they pay with their lives of all the commanders and infrastructure and so on, that they say, okay, we don't want to fight anymore, we're not going to shoot. But when it comes to ground forces, commando forces on the border, following the 7th of October, it's very, very clear for the defense establishment, for the government, but also for the citizens. The citizens of Israel, whether it's in the north, in the south, or in the center, they are not willing to be under the danger of a ground attack of terrorists like the scenario we saw on the 7th of October. This is something that Israelis will probably never again will be willing to be exposed to. Yes, they can understand, I don't know, maybe in 10 years again, somebody will shoot a rocket on Israel, but not people going into towns, burning people alive, raping women, kidnapping people. This is something Israelis are not going to agree to anymore. And every single citizen in the north is saying that crystal clear. We're not going back if there will be a terror army on our borders. So this is what it means when Israel says South Lebanon cannot have any terrorist in it. Now, it's complicated. How do you enforce this? How do you enforce a reality where you don't have terrorists in South Lebanon? It's not clear. Do we need to go in? Do we need to stay there for years? Is the international community, will they be willing to send whole divisions, not UNIFIL, not UN, something more serious to enforce this? What will be the mechanism? And I must say, frankly, that there are no simple answers. I don't have an answer. I don't know how you enforce this without IDF. And maybe we need the IDF for, I don't know, for a decade on the Litani River, enforcing a reality where no terror organization can go beyond the Litani south and get close to the Israeli border. It's a very, very complicated matter. And we'll see how the government deals with this.
General, there are so many questions coming in right now. I think we're going to have to find a time later in the week to try to address all of this.
We can take a bit more. We can, take a few more minutes if you want, Moshe. No
Well,
problem.
I don't even think that'll cover it. But okay, let's get through as many as we can. In terms of the IDF striking civilian infrastructure in Lebanon, if Hezbollah attacks civilian infrastructure in Israel, would the IDF return and attack civilian infrastructure, the power grid, things of that nature in Lebanon?
So definitely, if Hezbollah shoots Israeli infrastructure, Israel will attack Lebanese infrastructure. And so far, Hezbollah they didn't do that. They only try to target mostly military bases or military industries. They are not shooting very accurately, so it doesn't really always go the way where they say it's supposed to go. They have hit towns, of course, but I think they understand what will be the consequences of them shooting power plants or the airport or something like that. And they might be willing to do it. We don't know. I mean, these guys, they have their ideology, they have their way of thinking, and it's very hard to anticipate what will they do. But I can definitely say that they're pretty shocked from what's happening now. And really, the level of destruction that they are experiencing is unprecedented.
Okay, and now earlier on in this war, there was a lot of discussion and issues with the supply of munitions to Israel. Did Israel have enough weapons and munitions for the war in Gaza? So what about right now with Lebanon? Does Israel have all the munitions?
As we are speaking, I'm seeing many munitions going north. See the whole, the whole road with the big trucks with munitions driving north. So yes, at the moment we have munitions and the Israeli industry is producing munitions. We never have as much as we want, but we definitely have what we need at the moment to fight Hezbollah.
And then in terms of U.S. support for this war against Hezbollah, if the IDF decides there need to be troops on the ground in southern Lebanon, will the U.S. become a point of contention in terms of support for what Israel needs to do?
I think that during elections, it is going to be very hard for the administration and Kamala not to support Israel. It's going to be challenging, and in a way, this is why it's a good timing for us, because I don't know what will happen after the election. But now, going against Israel would be not smart politically. And so I tend to think that even if they don't like the fact that we're attacking, they will have to show support for the right of Israel to defend itself, especially if Hezbollah is going to shoot the with Israel.
General, are you still there, or did we lose you?
I can hear you.
Okay.
You can hear me?
Yes. Last question. The last question is, we know that Hezbollah is far more coordinated than Hamas. And to what extent is this war against Hezbollah going to open up into fighting militias in Syria and Iraq and potentially a more head-on war with Iran?
So, I mean, we are seeing shooting from Iraq and from Yemen. The question is, when is this coalition that is now spread in the Middle East with the US leadership going to be proactive and do something about it? At the moment, Israel is dealing with this alone, with most of the capabilities that are being shot. I would really expect the US to be more proactive when Israel is fighting on so many fronts.
Okay, Brigadier General Amir Avivi, thank you so much for joining this briefing. Thank you to all of our viewers, all of our supporters on this live Zoom for sending in your many questions. Anything we didn't get to today, we will make sure to get to later in the week. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Consider sharing and liking our channel to really help us get the truth out. General, it's always a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you for all you're doing right now to defend Israel. We will be back with you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. here in Israel. Until then, stay safe, stay strong. Take care, everyone.